Happy St. Patrick's Day. Sure, you could celebrate with a pint of green beer or wear some green, but I wanted to dive a little deeper into Irish history and culture with some oysters. St. Patrick's Day, a day to celebrate Irish culture and a chance to crush a nice pint of Guinness. But did you know that the Irish are also known for their oysters? Some connoisseurs even claim that Ireland's west coast grows the best oysters thanks to the Atlantic exposure, cold water, and pristine environment. All right, the last couple of years, let's just say it's put life into perspective. And I have a long list of things that I've never, ever done. And never have I ever shucked an oyster. I've eaten plenty. So today, I'm gonna meet up with a world champion oyster shucker. And let's just see how I fare. Meet Shucker Patty, AKA Patrick McMurray, a world champ oyster shucker, sommelier, and culinary educator. How do you go from studying physical education and kinesiology to becoming a world champion in oyster shucking?
It's just something that happened along the way that I'm very passionate about the restaurant industry, and I wanted to work someplace fun while trying to get into teachers college. I ended up working at Rodney's Oyster House in Toronto, and you know, it's sort of like Hotel California. Once you get in, you can't get out. When I won the Canadians, got to go to the Worlds in Galway Bay, Ireland in 2002, that's when I won the World Championships. So that's the nutshell story. What was it about oyster shucking that made you fall in love with it? I fell in love with oyster shucking really because it's fun. It is probably the best spot to be on the bar when you're shucking. I developed and wrote a book about oysters called The Oyster Companion. We make a little tasting wheel about it, and we talk about oysters in the sense of wine sommelier talks about wine. The region that the oyster comes from offers up a flavor of terroir. In grapes, it's terroir. Food, it's terroir. If it's from the land. From the ocean, it's terroir. Nothing shows it better than an oyster. How many oysters have you shucked within a certain time span? How many shuckers does a shucker shuck if a shucker could shuck shucks? I had the record since 2002. I've broken it twice. The latest time was on Gordon Ramsay's show called The F Word Live, and I now have 39 oysters in a minute. But I also have Team Canada, which is 10 shuckers, 8,840 oysters in an hour. And within that hour, I did 1,114. Wow. In 1 hour. So I have a lot to live up to. So right now you're gonna be, because I've never shucked an oyster. I've eaten a plenty, but I have not ever shucked myself. So are you ready for this challenge? Yes, it's always wise now because you got to be useful. You can only be cute for so long. You got to be useful and actually open your own oysters. Okay, hold on. You didn't think I would just go in blind, right? A day earlier, I paid a visit to Ireland, virtually, and chatted with Michael Moran from Moran's Oyster Cottage, a family business that dates back more than 250 years.
It's the perfect mix of salt and fresh water. And what you get is this beautiful minerality. The oysters themselves take, you know, this one is a native, it's a Galway flat as they call it, a new name Patrick McMurray has coined for it, the Galway flat. But this oyster takes 5 to 6 years to grow.
After a brief tutorial, I think I was ready to take on the challenge. Flat side down or curved? Upside down, good. Round side down, good. Round side, oh, that. You got it. So there's almost like a natural opening right there.
That's called the hinge. Now, angle this up just a little bit.
A little up.
And turn like key in lock. Give it a little wiggle and a turn. Pop it. And now once you've got that thing popped, you can see where the meat is attached right down there. And I want to take my knife tip, scrape that off the tip. Like this, voila. Place the top shell there, turn the oyster around. I'm looking for any grit that's left behind, maybe some new shell growth. This is the adductor muscle here. Scrape that hard underneath. That oyster is loose and we're ready to go. Then I'm gonna put it on the plate. Ready for your friends to enjoy.
True. It's true. It's hard work shucking an oyster.
Aw, shucks.
So much work.
Though. Worth it.
It is. I love the little chain link gloves that you had. Those are because it is
safety first.
Safety first. I've done it. And I've done it without gloves, and I'll tell you, it is dangerous. I've had a few cuts along the way, so be very careful. So that's incredible that he does that and does so many in that period of time.
it makes you really appreciate it. But I know oysters can be polarizing. Candace, are you into oysters?
Yeah, I actually had them for the first time, I want to say 2 weekends ago, and just lovely. You know, I didn't have the gloves or go into near of the technicalities that were there, but it's good to know that, you know, that level of expertise exists, and I'll give it a shot next time I shook.
It's the next best thing to going to Ireland is just having a nice oyster from there. So thank you so much to Shucker Patty for showing me. I'm definitely not going to do that as a backup career anytime soon. The restaurant will be held up for quite some time.
Well, we can always eat them, though.
Yes, that's true.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Shuck
stuff,
1,
Liam.
eat 10. That's the Liam formula. There,